Hello everybody, good evening, how are you doing? A very warm welcome to 8 till late live here on youtube.com/Wi-Fi sheep with me, Tom, and what I believe is our 10th edition, 11th week of doing this. I've only ever missed one so far, so this is the 10th time we've all gathered here this evening and wondered what on earth are we all doing. Anyway, I hope you're well. Thank you for joining me. I see in chat we've already got Martin, Brian, and I can never pronounce this. Paulo B. I'm so sorry if I got that wrong. Could you change your name? That might help me. Anyway, a very warm welcome to you all. Hope you're doing well. We've got a little bit to try and get through tonight. I'm actually feeling much better tonight. You may remember last week, I was so tired. I thought, no, we'll do the stream. I came on the stream. I was like, I'm tired. Leave me alone. And then it all went a bit. It felt, I don't know, maybe it looked fine on video. I haven't watched it back, but it felt like it went really bad. And I don't know if that's true or not. But anyway, I'm feeling much better tonight. So without getting too confident or overconfident, I think we'll be fine. So we've got a fair bit to talk about, as I said. I also want to get straight back into the Tiny Basic custom prototype build because I've got 5 weeks until that machine is going or due to go out on exhibition. Which reminds me, before we go any further, I'm just going to show you the poster once again for the Risk OS mug Christmas market exhibition. I'm every month, every week, I kind of go, oh, it's sort of an exhibition. It's a market event type show. It's quite low key, quite small, but it is the only computing event I'm going to be doing for the remainder of this year. It's free to enter. It's in a place called Witchbold, which is just outside Dwight Rich. I can't speak. West Midlands, South Birmingham on the M5. If you live about an hour and a half away from it, it might be worth popping in. It's free. I'm there. I will be there all day, and I'm going to have a few bits. Most things will have an Acorn Risk OS tilt to it. The whole show is based around that. But yeah, should be there, should be fun, and look forward to meeting those of you that would like to make it down. But as I said, it's not a full-blown exhibition, so just be aware of that. And also, before we go any further, do you have a need for reliable and cost-effective web hosting for your blog, business, or personal website? If so, then look no further than Cheap Host UK. Cheap Host UK's basic plan starts from only 58p per month. That's £6.99 a year. And if you're needing a little bit more, Cheap Host UK's premium packages start from £1.41 per month or £16.99 a year, complete with a free .co.uk domain. New customers can also take advantage of an extra 10% discount when purchasing any first-time hosting package or domain name from Cheap Host UK. Use discount code SHEEP, that's SHEEP, to get an extra 10% off. For reliable, cost-effective web hosting and domains, look no further than Cheap Host UK. Full details and an affiliate link are in the description to this video. Indeed, thank you. Indeed, thank you so much to Cheap Host UK for their continued support in sponsoring 8 till late here on Wi-Fi Sheep. 10% off with discount code SHEEP when you buy any first-time domain name or hosting package from Cheap Host UK. Details are in the description, or should be in the description to this video. Just going back to our name conversation, where are we? Paulio, of course it is. Paulio B, there we are. Brilliant. Thank you for correcting me on that. Yeah, 7 minutes in and we're already correcting, and I can't talk. Great evening. Anyway, yeah, how are you then? So lots going on. If you've been looking at my social media, a fair few things have arrived actually, which I will talk about briefly in a moment. But I don't want to go into too much detail here on this live stream because a lot of this stuff I need to do as like separate standalone videos, and I've only got one device, so I can only unbox it once, sort of thing. You hope that kind of makes sense. Also, many of you may be aware that Cambridge were having their retro annual exhibition today and tomorrow, and I'm normally at that, and I'm not. I'm here. Basically, it got rather oversubscribed, that end, and I was sort of asked if I would cut down or not go with a table kind of thing, and I thought, well, the problem is with that is I want to display my own things. That's the whole point of going. It costs quite a lot for me to go. I'm not paid. I have to pay to be there and everything. And expenses, and Cambridge is not local to me. And I just thought, considering everything else that's going on and how sort of late it is now getting in the year that they have this show, I just felt this year in particular, it wasn't, not that it wasn't worth my time, that sounds wrong. I would love to have gone, but I was too busy and too tired, and there's too many other things going on at the moment. So I just kind of said, respectfully, I'm going to step back from this year. I am hoping that they're going to run a smaller sort of overflow event in the spring. I have done one of those before. They tend to be a bit smaller. Still in the same venue, the Centre for Computing History in Cambridge, in the museum itself. And I'm kind of hoping that I'll go to that. It's a slightly smaller event, so it's less crowded. I actually can talk to people without losing my voice. And it's a bit less stressful on me. So that's what I'm hoping to do. Failing that, if they get a new venue or sort out what they're doing with this show, if it's going to get bigger and bigger, if we get a new venue next year, then obviously I'd love to be back for sort of November time next year. Obviously, pending anything else that is happening. Yeah, so that's that. Obviously, as I've just said, we're doing the Midland Show as a kind of, well, instead of really. The thing about the mug event, and I'll just bring up that poster again. So the thing about the mug event, it's only about an hour away from where I am, because I'm just on the fringes of the where the West Midlands meets the Welsh marches. So I'm kind of in that area, and so it's only about an hour away. So it's a show I can do. It's a one-day show. It'll be a quieter, smaller show, but it will mean it should be a bit nicer to be at. You're not going to get crushed. And I can talk to people and spend a bit more time, which is nice. So that's that. Let's just have a quick look and hello to our channel members, patrons and channel members. And would like to welcome Martin Parker, who is in the chat, who has joined us on Patreon. And very, very grateful for your support, Martin. I actually had a little chat on the phone with Martin the other week, I'm going to say. Martin is looking at doing the Tiny Basic Computers, the first project, which is the toolkits are on the general downloads tier on Patreon. So it's not Project Rio, it's the one before that, which we were originally doing, which is still up there. So there is Martin on a brand new Patreon, and there is our complete list of Patreon and YouTube channel members. You can join me on Patreon if you'd like to. Very much appreciated if you do. It's patreon.com/Wi-Fi Sheep. Alternatively, you can support me here on YouTube directly with the YouTube membership tiers. They start at 99p all up to $2.99, and those prices are converted to your local currency wherever you happen to be in the world. For that, you click the join button on youtube.com/Wi-Fi Sheep. Yeah, so Martin is going to have a go at doing the Tiny Basic Computers build, and I'd be really interested to see how you get on, Martin. As a result of that, I've made a couple of changes. So those of you that are on the £2, $3 general downloads and support tier, I've modified the toolkit. So it used to be a zip that you downloaded. What I've done is I've now moved it over to, it's all in open plan docs. Excuse me. So you just follow the link through Patreon. It takes you to the Google Docs thing, and all the folders and everything is all now open plan from the link. I've also open sourced or made the source code available rather, version 3 and version 4 color of the Tiny Basic. So don't confuse this with Project Rio. Project Rio is a separate higher tier, but if you actually, and also if you're Project Rio Patreon subscriber, you also get access to all this as well, by the way. I didn't realise I hadn't clicked that link to set it up. So you should now have access to everything. So as you go up in the tier structure, you should have access to everything below that. It's not like you're sort of buying into one thing or another. Anyway, the source codes, which now should compile in Arduino IDE, are all now available. So you don't need to do the whole Windows hex thing anymore. The only one it's remaining on under the hex thing is the free one that's off the Facebook group. And that's just because it's free, and we're using some proprietary code that's not mine, and it's someone else's. Scott Julian from what's he called? Alpha Works, yes, Alpha Works in Australia, and he's done a lot of work with the original kernel and shared a lot of source code with me. So that was kind of the arrangement. That's why we had to paywall things or pre-compile. So that's what's going on and why we've done that. But hopefully it now means that you can just compile things. You may need some dependencies. You may need to install some dependencies. So it might not compile straight out of the box. That'll be up to you to sort out. But it should all be downloadable and should find the dependencies quite easy. So it's all for the Arduino IDE. I have been doing a bit of testing prior to uploading the new files. It does all seem to be working fine. Obviously, I don't offer any full warranty or tech support, but if anyone's really stuck and you're a Patreon backer or YouTube channel member for that matter, do drop us a line and I'll see what I can do to sort you out. Okay, what should we talk about next? Right, I suppose let's cut to the other camera. Let's talk about it. So you may have seen today. Oh, it's doing that thing again. You may have seen today that the camera breaks. We are so changing over to another machine, I'll tell you. I'm fed up with this happening. Every week this happens. Right. It was all going so well. It's blooming USB bandwidth on these Macs is terrible. Absolutely terrible. Right, so anyway, this came through. I'm going to have to try and unplug the camera in a minute. Sorry. So I'll keep talking. We're just going to lose the picture a minute. Make sure I actually unplug the right one. There we go. So the parcel you just saw on your screen actually came today. Are we back? Yes, we're back. And damn it, we've had this problem recurring actually quite a bit, haven't we? Yeah, this came today and it's the Raspberry Pi 5 I ordered, and I am trying to talk to you while looking for something else at the same time. Just bear with me one moment. I'll be right back. Okay, apologies. I think we've sorted it. We've certainly got some frame rate back. Okay, and Martin has just sent me a picture in something. Hang on. We'll look at that in a minute. That's okay. Let me just do this. I think Martin sent me a progress picture. I'm not even logged into a... Well, I still call it Twitter, but you know what I mean. Let's have a look. Oh. Cool. Yeah. Okay. We'll look at that in a moment. Thanks for showing that, Martin. We'll look at that in a minute. Okay. Right. So this came today, and it is a Pie Hut box. I'm not sponsored by them. It's just where I ordered from. And this is the stuff I've now bought. So, this is the new Pi 5. I'm going to leave that in the box for this. I'm sorry to disappoint. We're not doing much more than I'm just going to show you the packaging, actually, because I need to open that in a video, which will be up shortly. So I'm just going to go for this very quick, and we're moving on. So there's the Pi 5. And I looked at that and thought, that's a small box. So I grabbed the Pi 4 box, and I am right, it's smaller. They've really shrunk this packaging down from the Pi 4. Also, I've bought this, which looks like a deck of cards. It isn't. It's the active cooling module, so the Pi 5 doesn't come with its own fan. You have to buy that separately. And the Pi 5 also now needs another new power supply, so I've bought that as well. Although I have been, have been told it will run on the Raspberry Pi 4 supply. But I bought the 25 watt USB-C power supply for the Pi 5s. That's the proper power supply, the cooling system, and a 4 gig Pi itself. I remember when I first did the video about the announcement, and someone said to me in the comments, "Oh, you know, you'll regret only buying the 4 gig one." I honestly don't think I will. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm slightly struggling to think what am I actually going to do with this other than the kind of unboxing review video. I mean, yeah, we'll set it up, we'll give it a fair run. I mean, that is tiny box, and to be honest with you, I like the old style box, Raspberry Pi 3. For me, the 3 and the 3B Plus and the A variant as well were probably some of the last great Raspberry Pi models that I generally didn't have a problem with. I thought were great. The 400 was okay as well, be it a few issues. But ever since that, especially with 4 and onwards, I've just struggled a bit. And I'll be completely honest with you. If it wasn't for the fact that I ran a YouTube channel, okay, I probably wouldn't have bothered with this, in all honesty. It also doesn't help that I'm playing with other boards that sponsors have sent me at the moment, such as the X1, which is the from U-E10, which is in the other room at the moment. And that board is kind of in the same, it's x86 64-bit, this is ARM 64-bit. I think someone said they got this clocked up to 3 gigahertz. The UE2X1 runs at 2.9 gigahertz as sort of, or up to 2.9 as default stock standard. That you'd have to really overclock and push to get there. So, yeah. Plus the fact all the reviews I have seen for people who've got early access to this, none of the software works at the moment. I'm sure things will improve, but a lot of stuff doesn't work on Pi 5. So, yeah. And it's still got that annoying mini connector thing that you all know I hate. Whereas the X1 has one mini and one full HDMI. So, with that said, I'm struggling a bit with this, but we'll give it a fair run. See what happens, but yeah, so that will be coming up very shortly. I'm going to pop that away for a minute. So I'm sorry I'm not unboxing tonight, but some other things we need to do. Oh, actually, well, before I forget, I'm also going to see if it would actually fit into a Pi 2.3 official case. It might, because the orientation swapped over from the Raspberry Pi 4. So on the Pi 4, the USB, let's get it in camera, there we go. The USB and the Ethernet swapped over, okay? So the 3 had it the other way around, the 4 swapped it this way. So these really don't fit. but now they've swapped it back again on the 5, it might be possible. I think you can take these side panels out. It might be possible to get something to fit. I don't know. So that's what I'm going to look at. Otherwise, it is literally completely new infrastructure needed for Pi 5, which, yeah. I have actually got some ideas of things we might do on the channel with Pi 5, so I'm not like completely clueless. There's a few things I want to do, and I think we could do with Pi 5. But my argument all along is that if you're going to make a Raspberry Pi that can do PC things, well, x86 PC boards are now coming down in price. The Raspberry Pi is going up in price. So, yeah. Anyway, that will be coming. I will get that done. Oh, I'd hope this week, actually, but I've got quite a few other things happening this week with the channels, so we will get there. And Andrew in the chat says the Pi 5 is notably quicker than the 4, and there's a new version of Pi RS. Yes, so yeah, I'd absolutely don't cut my camera back. I bet this has gone black. It has, but you can still hear me. That's the wrong camera. Where are we? Come on. Oh no, really? Just bear with me. There we go. There we go. Right. Yeah. I've lost some train of thought now. Yeah. No, it is faster. It is. Yeah. I'm not saying the Pi 5 is a bad product. I'm just saying that. Well, it does some things already that annoy me, and I haven't even opened it yet. And again, it's just this thing that I'm playing with x86 devices and other like clone products now that are surpassing what Raspberry Pi is or can do, which is the problem, for either the same price or cheaper. So it's just slightly struggling in my mind to kind of figure out where Pi 5 fits into things. Maybe once we've used it, maybe I'll change my mind or soften up a bit, but it just doesn't grab me. And also, we're still running on blooming micro SD card, not eMMC. I mean, seriously, you know, anyway, right, that's enough of that. By the way, I'll just explain, if you can hear background noise, I've got a dog downstairs with a squeaky toy. And also tonight is Bonfire Night here in the UK, which is a tradition dating back many, many centuries, or what we call Guy Fawkes Night. So people are setting off fireworks left, right and centre, and that's what you might be hearing in the background. Excuse me. Yeah, anyway. Right, so that is that. What else were we going to talk about? Oh, right, yeah. So, photo time. No, tell you what, let's see if I can just sort out. Martin sent me a photo, and I want to share that with you. So, just bear with me, because I need to go and grab it from one thing to put it in another thing, and this will take a moment. Just bear with me. Okay. I appreciate you can see that live in a minute. Right, there we go. Okay. So, huge thank you to Martin, who has just sent me this. So this is... Let's zoom in on that a minute. There we are. You've got it working. So that is the Tiny Basic PS4 colour build, and yeah, I only sorted that out for you yesterday. So that's what you can now get off the Patreon on the £2 $3 tier. And yeah, so it's not the most up-to-date kernel, and you've got it working on Pi 3. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, anything newer than a Pi 3 doesn't really, the keyboard doesn't, the USB driver doesn't work. So the Raspberry Pi acts purely as a dumb terminal, so it's not running Linux or anything. It's running a bare metal kernel called PyGFX. You've seen me run it here when we do the main build. Basically, that is the exact same setup, if you like, as what we're doing with the build I've got here. And I assume that's all working pretty well. EEPROM, you've got the EEPROM initialized. Excellent. Yeah. Yeah, superb. So, yeah, it won't do everything that Project Rio will do, because I've changed a few things since then. But, so, you know, Martin, no pressure. If you ever want to upgrade to Project Rio, now you've got a basic rig running. Saying that, you will need a Mega. What board was that again? Was that a... hang on. Oh, it's a Nano. Okay, yeah, no, we need more. So that's, I should know that, yeah. So you're running with just over 1K of RAM. And obviously what we found when we were experimenting was that you need more RAM to do proper colour stuff, but that should have all the draw commands in. I have to remember, actually, what commands that has in it. But yeah, excellent. That's really, really great to see. So well done there, Martin. Brilliant. Okay, on to some other photos while we're here. Thanks for sharing that, by the way. So this was posted the other day, and I completely forgot about this. So that is me and my dearest fiancée, Anna, who's been incorrectly named as Anne. And we went to drop some dog food off from Anna's. Anna works in a supermarket chain, and she's a manager. And we went to drop off some dog food to a local kennels as a donation. And as we came into their yard, they got poultry and chickens there, and we nearly ran one. We didn't. And but they said, oh, they want to take a photograph for the donation. And so I said, can I hold a chicken in for the photograph? I don't know why I said that, but I did. So this is the image, the photograph in the post from where are we? From the first, so yeah, a couple of days ago. And I'm just like, oh God, I hate that was a bad decision. That's the weirdest photo you're ever going to see right there. So anyway, there we are. That's my charity work for you. In the chat, where are we? SD card is good. You can swap OS instantly. Yeah, yes. eMMC, if it burns, you can thread a whole board. Yeah, but I've never actually done that with eMMC. Most of them have been very, very reliable, and SD card is slow and corrupts and gets hot, which is a real pain, especially if you want to try and use these machines for anything remotely serious. So I see where you're coming from. I mean, a lot of these boards have SD cards still, so you can still boot off SD card as well as, but it's just nice to have a base OS on eMMC. Every other blooming board does this now, bar Pi. So that's kind of my argument. What have we got, Martin? I wanted to get it like you're doing with the alternative OS for RISC OS. Oh, yeah, you mean the dual boot. Right, yes, the dual boot should work, actually. I need to test that on a free here, but yes, I know what you mean now. Yeah, the dual boot system. Yeah. How that works, that's what we were doing last week, and it wasn't working because I really did realise it doesn't work on a 1. You have to have a 3 or 4. Dull. So basically the idea is you push a button and it reboots, it switches boot image basically on the SD card. So the way that works is you'd flash a Linux or a RISC OS, whatever you're going to use, and then you actually add, just by click and dragging, you add the PyGFX files onto your FAT side of your card image for the Pi. Then you obviously have that set up in the config.txt. So basically, you don't flash or need to mess around with image partitions for the Linux or the RISC OS. You just boot that as a straight image, a Raspbian or a RISC OS, or whatever you're going to use. Yeah, and then you add PyGFX to that image, and you can do that through click and dragging, because PyGFX does not require any boot partitions that most Windows and Mac systems can't see. So it becomes fiddly to set up otherwise. So that's how I did it with mine. So when you saw the RISC OS booting, that was a straight RISC OS image. I just literally click and dragged onto PC the PyGFX files, and that's how I made that image. You see, and that's how we were going to kind of make it happen. Where are we? So yeah, Marty's saying, yeah, what he did last week, want to try it for yourself. But that's what we discussed, didn't we, on the phone, I think, Marty, when I called you. Andrew's saying Orange Pi 5 Plus has eMMC. Yes, as does the 3B, which is like an SD card that can be swapped out. Yeah, as does the 800, Orange Pi 800, which is there, which I now use, which has replaced my Pi 400 in most cases. So it's just running the screen tonight. But yeah, so that has eMMC. Every other device I've got has eMMC, bar the Raspberry Pi line, is what I'm kind of getting at. So I just thought it was such a de facto standard that you, honest to God, would have thought Pi 5 would have had it. It's just, anyway. Yeah. Right, yes, so let's... where are we? Let's go back to photos. So, okay, that's that. Did anybody see this? This was posted literally yesterday. Retro Games Limited. So they are the company that made the C64 and the VIC-20 and the mini systems that we covered here on the channel. Basically the clone Commodore machines that were actually lifelike scale working models that had all Winner-based Linux boards in them running an emulator, which then passed off as a relatively convincing C64 experience. So they actually posted this, which was their timeline the other day, stating that there's going to be a product update very shortly, a new mini console. I'm surprised they're doing mini consoles because I thought we'd been slightly past the mini sort of phase of things. I mean, no one really goes after Nintendo mini systems anymore. But anyway, besides the point. A new accessory launched. Well, I hope it's better than their joysticks or their mouse, because that was disappointing. A full-size Amiga. So they are going to do a full-size Amiga system. Now, you'll know if you followed, depends how long you followed me, but you'll know that I don't have anything against Amiga. I just don't know Amiga. So it just doesn't interest me. I've got to be brutally honest with you. That's why I kind of went, okay. To be honest with you, the A500 to me just looked like a doorstop. And I think I called it a doorstop, and then someone got really offended. How dare I say that kind of thing? And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but it's just, I know what the hardware inside is. And if it had booted into the Workbench OS or something, then it might have been more interesting, but it didn't. It just sort of went in that carousel mode and had games that you could pre-select. I thought, well, it's just like a plug and play game box. It's in a shape of a wedge computer with a keyboard that doesn't work. So, and you remember what happened with my C64 Mini. We broke it apart and built that working micro with a full keyboard out of it, or the board, that is. So I just, not hugely interested in that. They are, however, what does get interesting is, so 2025, it's some way off. New full-size console. Another new full-size console for 2025. I have been hearing rumours that this might be a TRS-80 colour computer free. Possibly. The TRS-80, that was Tandy Radio Shack's line of computers. The TRS-80 Coco Free never came out here in the UK. But it was, the TRS-80 line originally was the Z80 machines. Don't confuse these with the TRS-80 colour computer, which was Motorola 6809, which was an 8-bit chipset. It was the same architecture that was used in the Alice system in France and the Dragon 32 and 64 here in the UK. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that although I'm not a colour computer Dragon user, the Dragon especially was sort of known as the Welsh BBC Micro, effectively. If it's true, and that's what they're going to do, that would make sense, and actually be very interesting. I'd be kind of interested in one of those if they did something like that. There's also talk about they may do a ZX Spectrum. the original people from Retro Games were originally part of Retro Computers that did the ZX Spectrum Vega and that Vega Plus thing that crashed and burnt really badly, and then they left and formed Retro Games and did the C64. We'll have to see. What they definitely won't be doing is BBC Micros or anything Acorn related. A number of reasons for that. One, it's a very limited market. Acorn not particularly well known outside of the UK. Some European use, some Australian use, some South African use, but not huge amounts. It's not going to be a big seller. It has the stigma of being the school computer, which people don't like. Plus the fact the rights to it are absolutely horrendous to get hold of. No one actually knows who owns what. And there's bits of it that people claim they own when they don't. And it's just a mess and it's not worth going there. The other machine I think they could possibly do would be something in the Atari 8-bit line. Getting hold of the licenses for things like the Atari 600, 800, the desktop computers. And the later ST line. I could see that being doable as well. And that would also, even though I'm not a user of the Atari systems, that for me would also be more interesting than the Amiga. Can't quite tell you why. Maybe it's just because it's tied into the Atari name. I don't know. But yeah, so that's all very, very interesting. And we'll be watching that just to see what happens. Because, yeah, be curious to see what anyone thinks of that. But which reminds me, actually, we still need to do some playing around with the C64. I've not had it out in a little while, and there's some interesting C64 things that have been happening that I would like to cover with my clone system. So, yeah. Oh, okay, that was a lot of talking. I need to go and get some water in a minute, but yeah, stop slouching as well. There we are. Right, what else? Oh, just quickly then, before we start doing something practical this evening. How long have I been talking for? 40 minutes, blimey. Right. Work story quickly for you. So, I am trying to set up a new replacement Raspberry Pi Jam type computing event with the support of work. That's Harper Adams University, where I now work as an engineer. Well, technically, I say engineer, I'm a support technical support technician or systems, or I forget what my exact title is, but it's in that field. Basically, we're trying to set up a new club because we've got the support of the uni, we've got the labs, we've got the lecture theatres, we've got the space to do it. So we're setting up a new club to replace the Stafford commuting group that closed, unfortunately, earlier in the summer. The first event is happening on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. Now, it's not open to the public at the moment. We're doing 2 trial events with just staff and students from the uni and invited guests. That's former members of the Stafford Raspberry Pi Jam. So we're just doing that as a trial run next week, and then the second Wednesday of December. And I've been rushing around because I've basically been heading this project, and I've been rushing around trying to get it ready. We've got hold of some Pi tops. I showed you them last week. We couldn't get them to boot, but I got hold of some Pi tops. I've now got those bootings. I'm going to add some hardware that's come from donated to me very kindly from Stafford that we can use at the event. In the new year, as long as it hasn't crashed and burned, in the new year, I'm hoping to open it for general public to come and visit as well. So it'll be hopefully one of the kind of get-together computing club events happening within Shropshire, Staffordshire, West Midlands border area. It will be free. It'll be 3 hours on an evening, 6 till 9. I've got car parking, I've got toilets, I've got pretty much all that sorted out now. So we've got a good venue in the actual engineering building where I work. So should be really good. I will post some more details about that when we go public, and I guess I'll let you know how the first 2 events actually went. I really need a drink. I am struggling here. Quick one in the chat. Where are we? Polio. Sounds like polio. I've still not got that right. Ownership of the actual Commodore brand is very messy. Probably explains why Rich Games went with these. Yeah, they went with the C64 because they didn't have the rights to the Commodore name, but they were able to license the ROM, the basic interpreter. Well, the basic interpreter was Microsoft, but the ROM and the interpreter, they were able to license the actual bit of the machine that made it a Commodore. They couldn't call it Commodore. That's right, actually. Yeah, and what else? Yeah, the emulator was Vice 64, which is open source anyway. So it used a free open source emulator under the hood. It just ran on a Linux kernel on an all-winner. Was it H3 all-winner ARM chip? I think it was H2, H3, something like that. Yeah, but they got around it. They got it to work, and that's why they don't have the Amiga name either. That's why it's the A500. So, I mean, you could do a sort of Vabib, I guess, but no one would buy it. And I think Vabib would still be potentially a trademark of the BBC. The Acorn rights is a complete mess. You would never get it back together. And even if you got the branding sorted or went without it, you still can't claim you can use BBC Basic. Risk OS is debatable who owns what, even though people claim they own things, then they turn around and go, actually I don't, or actually I don't know, or I haven't looked in the paperwork I've just bought, and all this kind of stuff. So it's probably a minefield. It's just commercially not worth even going there, which is sad, but that's the reality. And we'll say hello to Gertmon, who has joined us after doggy duties. Don't even go there with doggy duties. I was on dog walks in the storms and the rain today. And then I've been trying to record this afternoon with squeaking and whining going on in the background. But good evening, Gertmon. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us. Right. Have I talked about everything I wanted to talk about? Yes. So we're going to get back on with the prototype very shortly. I need to go and get a drink of water. So hold that thought. I will literally be right back with you. Not a tea break. Pints of water. There we go. I'm back. How are we doing? Where are we? Martin, I'm getting 2X Cocker Spaniel puppies tomorrow. Really? Oh, blimey. Yeah, I remember when we got Bella as a puppy just over... Where are we? Yeah. Yeah, just about a year ago we had her as a puppy. And oh my God, my... Labrador, she's not a full lab, she's a lab German Shepherd Alsatian cross. But oh my goodness, there we are, I can hear her barking now. Oh dear. Just destroying the house, it was great, yeah. She's 1 year old now and still giving me still a pain. I showed you the picture, didn't I, actually? Well, hang on. Let's go back to pictures. I think the dog picture's still on there. Where are we? There we are. Yeah, so she had a birthday. I've shown you that before, but she had a birthday the other time, and that we got her to just wear a hat for 5 seconds before she sort of shook it all off. When I'm not playing this game anymore, but yeah. So best of luck with that. Get them on. Your lab's a year old and hyper. Yeah, ours is. Mine is. It's, yeah. Anyway, back to my things. Oh, hello to Brian. I think I said hello to you. How are you doing? When is the Raspberry 5 review coming out? I assume you haven't filmed it yet, obviously. Nope, I have not filmed it yet because we've just been looking at the package. When is it coming out? It's an interesting one, Matt. I'd like to say this week, definitely by next weekend. The only thing is, because I'm currently in a contract to do a sponsored rival product, bearing in mind, we entered that arrangement literally 24 hours before the Pi 5 was even announced. So I had no idea about it, right? So we went to this arrangement. This new X1 product has kind of come out literally just by sheer coincidence in the same space. I kind of need to finish part 2 of the X1 video before I go talking about a rival, if you know what I mean. So it's just good manners and common courtesy, especially if you're being paid to talk about something. But I want to get it done pretty soon, obviously. I also just want to see if anything comes out on the Pi 5 that's interesting to look at, other than we're just going to stare at the desktop and go, oh, that's nice. Go, oh, it's very fast. Look how it drags that window quick. You know, we need something a bit more tangible. I did see if RetroPie had updated yet, because that's the Pi 5. That's the obvious thing, and I think that's where mine will go, actually, RetroPie. I've got a couple of ideas, a few things we can go at compiling ourselves. So, yeah, I've got a few ideas of what we'll do with a Pi 5. And I've got a bigger idea, which next year now, I need to buy a few bits, decide if it's worth spending the money to buy a few bits, would be quite a good Pi 5 project. So yeah, but that very much relies on RetroPie getting updated, and hopefully having things like Dolphin emulator and what's the PS2 emulator called? I can't remember. Anyway, so yeah, that'll be coming out when it comes out. I'm just looking at chat. Also, my youngest son's kitten. Get on, what have you got going on over there? Heaven's sake, kittens, dogs, what? Oh, I'll just get harassed by my own chickens here, and the budgies that make the noise, including Rio, that we named Project Rio after. Anyway, right, let's do something useful. That's an idea. Let's do something useful. Right, everybody in chat, help me out with something, because this came up at work the other day and I think I'm going mad, so help me out. Okay. What do you call this stuff? Do you know what this stuff is? Have you ever seen it before? Yeah. Do you know what that is? Because I bought some of this. I actually bought these 2 offcuts into work the other day, suggesting we could use it as a cheap building material for prototyping, and virtually no one in the department had ever heard of it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I'm just thinking, am I going mad here? Or does anyone else recognise what this is? We've used it extensively on Wi-Fi Sheep. If you've built my Micro 1 system, actually, where's my Micro 1 system? It's up here. If you're a Patreon backer on the downloads, was it the down? I forget. Yeah, you do have access on the downloads, I think, to the Build It Yourself Micro 1 kit. Yeah, Pi powered. Thank you. Yes, styrene. Well done. Excellent. Foam board. Yeah, styrene board. Oh, right, I'm not going mad. Yeah. So, yeah, styrene board, which is brilliant. Cheap stuff. Cut. You can glue it with PVA or wood glue. Wood adhesive works fine. Hot melt glue works fine. Yeah. And they had never heard of it. I was like, I just thought, am I going mad? So, the reason I want to show you this particular, these offcuts, is I must now get our prototype machine in a better position. I'm just leaning over here to grab it because it's still in its box from the last time we looked at it. It's just, I might have to pull the camera out in a minute, but let's just get that out of the box. I've got literally 5 weeks, and then if you want to travel to the Midlands to come and meet me, you can, and I'm going to have our prototype here actually on show, working. So I've got to make a decision if I'm going to swap the pie out and put a 3 in. I might have put like a, have I got an A board somewhere? 3A plus or something? Might work quite well, I think. No, I need more USB, so that would be a problem. Anyway, right. So, yeah. Basically, I'm at the point now where I need to get this. Sorry, we're going to just zoom out a minute. So we can get it in frame. There we go. Okay. Let's grab a screwdriver again, wherever I left that last time. There it is. So I need to tidy up this machine to get it ready, and we need to do something with the back. And I'm thinking we should just cut out and put a piece of styrene board in the back, or foam board. Let's just take the screws back out, put them somewhere I can lose them. We're not finished with the prototype yet. I really would like to do the dual booting, so I'm umming and ahhing about putting the 3 in, actually. Let's put the lid somewhere where I can lose it. Down there will do. Right. So my thinking is a piece of styrene, and we could get that to sort of fit inside, kind of like that, and we could sort of just space the back off the unit, and see if we can figure out how to. Yeah, basically it's just going to be a sort of very quick cut and shut, actually. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking of doing, and I thought we might do that tonight. Just try and tidy this board up a little bit. Also try and figure out if we can fit things like the internal USB, because we'll get that to sit. You can see that. I wonder if I'd sort of sit there, maybe. It's not ideal, but it would work. Then we can mount. Sorry, get my hands out of the way. There we go. We can mount the phono sockets come like that, or like that. Yeah, that might work. So, yeah, a little bit crude, but I really want to try and get at least this machine into a sort of semi-presentable state. One for the exhibition. Also, maybe if we get this sorted tonight, it could go to the first of these new Pie Jam events. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Right, so let's... Must have been a blue piece of it. What, me? Or TM06 UFO. Am I saying that right? Please tell me I'm getting someone right here tonight. Oh, yeah. Yes. You mean Adam yeah, I was going to say Adam Savage off Mythbusters fame and the Tester channel. I'm subscribed to that channel though. I haven't watched as much of that as I'd like to. I don't know why I've never watched it as much as I'd liked. But I do. My channel as Wi-Fi Sheep is subscribed to it. Just seeing where all my tools have gone, so we stand a chance of doing something tonight. Pencil might help. So what I want to do is I just want to cut this piece of board down to size. I need to find where's a steel ruler? Not one of those safety ones either, so I can just sort of slip off the ruler and stab myself live on air. I have never done it live on air, but I have been cutting before, and I have actually slipped and gone clean into the side of one of my fingers. Did it? Oh God, a couple of years ago. And I was doing more train stuff in the attic, and I literally was like panicked. It's like like that, flapping around, and just splattered blood all over the table and up the wall. I didn't need stitches, thank God, but yeah, that wasn't fun. So why do you think I always put those do things at your own risk captions at the front of a lot of the make type videos we do on the channel? It's just for the liability, really. If you injure yourself or lop limbs off, it's not my fault. Right, so this is going to be a little bit crude, but we'll just start cutting this board down roughly to size. I like foam board. It's why we built computers out of it. It's why I told you to go and build computers out of it, because it's, try and get that roughly straight, because it's good. It's a cheap, good material to work with. It's also why I save all the offcuts from the prototyping and custom builds, because these are all offcuts. But blimey, this. There we are. Knife's a bit blunt. Oh, right, yes. Brian's just said the Night Owl BBS is up for those that are interested. Will be for the next hour, not to drag you away from Tom's live stream. No, by all means, no. You know, do go and check that out. I'm not offended. It's fine. Seriously. Have I still got your... Hang on. Have I still got... hang on. Yeah, I've still got it. There it is. From the other night. So, Night Owl, there's the address. If you want to go and have a play with that. If you were thinking of doing that, you could. I'm obviously not going to do that tonight because I'm busy here. But Night Owl, there it is. Night Owl, bbs.dnss.net. Port 6400. And Telstar, if you're interested, is also running at the same time right now. So, yeah, do go and check that out. Actually, do you know what, Brian? I probably should talk to you privately about this, not just publicly. But I had a little idea, actually. So, just quickly. So, you know when you're waiting for me to... hang on, my glasses are mucky. You know when you're waiting for me to become live or I disappear... for tea breaks and things, right? So basically, you get this. Yeah, you get that. Yeah. I was thinking it would be kind of nice, actually. I'm not sure quite how to work this one out, but you know, like for those of you in the UK, do you remember when the BBC used to have pages from CFAX as break filler, especially overnight? You get test card, and here's some pages from CFAX, and it would do an InVision scroll of the Teletext CFAX service, which is very similar to BBS. I was kind of thinking that I could just run the video of the stuff I already captured. I was thinking it might be kind of nice while we're waiting for me if we did a like pages from Night Owl. So it doesn't necessarily have to be live. It could be like a pre-recorded video that I show you. But instead of just having that, we could have pages from Night Owl sort of scrolling through whilst we wait for me to come live. I don't know what you think, how you feel about that, Brian, but it was just a little idea I had. I thought that might be quite nice. Something a bit more interesting than a static slide. I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think about that. If it's a no, then that's fair enough. I think what I would probably do is I'd do a pre-recording and roll that as a video, so you wouldn't actually have to have the system live or anything, but it's just an idea. Anyway, right, back to the build. So we've cut that. It's roughly to size. This is a little unorthodox, but let's just... Well, Paulo likes the idea. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'd keep the music, Martin. Yeah, no, it would keep the music, or we'd do something. Yeah, we'd keep something like that. Yeah, running with it. But I just thought that might be kind of nice instead of instead of just having the caption. But I get it; it's up to it. No pressure, Brian. Everyone likes the idea. But as it's not my work, and it's technically not my rights to be able to do that without asking, really. So I'm all for respecting people's property and rights, especially with creative media. So. But no, by all means, if you want to go and play with, I missed another comment from Martin actually, which I'll get back to in a minute. But if you want to go and play with Night Owl this evening, by all means, you could have me on one screen and you could go and play with Night Owl on your second monitor. No, just me then. Okay. That's your thing. Who the hell puts second monitors with their Pis? I'm going to have a nervous tick about these Raspberry Pis by the end of the night, I tell you. So, best laid plans. Can I make this fit? Sort of. We need to cut a bit off the top. Problem is I've stuck this 3D print piece a little bit too far forward, so that is a slight issue. Let me just write out, what did Martin else? What else did Martin say? Just a thought. You're not needing to plug anything into the Arduino board. How about moving it to behind the Pi? But you could put the composite at, and then find it easier to get your SD card out. Yeah, that's the point actually. The only reason we did... Oh, don't make me make decisions now, please. The only reason for doing that was so I've got the USB access so I can actually tap in if I need to reflash, and also got the SD card. What did you say about the SD card? Get the yes, it's easier for that SD card, which shouldn't for the Pi, but that should be pretty much static. I've got this SD card which I do need access to because that stores all our programs for Project Rio, which is here. So I like the thinking, and thank you for the suggestion. You're not sure. Let's just see if I can. If that'll move. That is in there so tight now. Oh, right. Is Brian still on the chat, or is he gone again? Because he may have completely missed everything I just said. I'll have to email him. See what he thinks. Right, so what we're going to do is going to take a little bit more off. Well, by the way, before I also forget, talking about work again, the new work YouTube channel for engineering at the university, which I'm producing and presenting, hosting, will be live soon-ish. And the thinking is that what I'll do is, if you are a channel Patreon member or channel backer on YouTube, I will give you some first look access to some of the content from there before it goes live, so you can see that as well as Wi-Fi sheep stuff, because I'll be interested to gauge a bit of feedback before we make that public. It's a bit of a responsibility, that, because Gertmon, I missed Night Owl wasn't last week, it was 2 weeks ago. Last week was a car crash because I was tired. Night Owl BBS, that's the one you came in midway through, I think, and went literally in the comment, what's going on? If you remember. Night Owl BBS, we were looking at, it was an 8-bit BBS run by our friend Brian Martin there in the chat, and it's his system. It's a custom dial-up BBS that also ran via TCP protocol, I think that's right. Yes, I think that's right. So I'm just trying to see if we can get this to fit. And basically, it was a really cool system, actually, and it had lots of pages, a bit like a teletext CFAX style system. And here's BBC Micro Master 128, not too dissimilar to the one behind me here, actually runs it. And so it only runs for a couple of hours every so often when it's actually online. So it's online right now. And if you want the software, you need a browser to look at it. There is a Windows and Mac application on glasstty.com, I think it was. Hang on a moment. Yes, if you go to glasstty.com, just in your browser, there is a viewer called Telstar. I think it's Telstar Viewer, which you can download for free. And then you install that app on your, it has to be on a PC or a Mac, it has to be a desktop system. And then you can actually type in the address into that browser. It works like an old school browser, and the port number, and you can actually tap Night Owl. Now, Night Owl only worked on one user at a time, so it's literally first come, first serve. But it was a cool night, because we all sort of queued up, kind of, to go and have a look at it. And there's the visuals on it. They're all that kind of like classic 8-bit stuff, which I really like, that kind of very low-res 8-bit style. Some very cool stuff done on there. Especially the Wi-Fi sheet. The remakes of the Wi-Fi sheet branding was really, really cool. So that's what that is. Failing that, the crash course will be go and watch back 2 weeks ago. But again, we thank Martin for his basically sorting that out for us. It was a great evening, actually. Anyway, back to the build. So I've got the panel in. It's not perfect, but it'll do. So what we need to do now is just very roughly work out where we need to have holes for things. And I'll just do that with a pencil. So we need HDMI. Again, I'm sorry you can't really see because the light's not great, but HDMI hole going sort of there. We need this space here cutting out. And I'm tempted to crudely stick the USB kind of like there. Sorry about this, one moment. See what I'm doing. Okay. So you can see it's a little bit crude. We'll just get those more or less straightened up. And an SD card. And we need to figure out how to get the power through shortly. That's Brian saying, cheers for that, Tom. Nice recap. That's all right, Brian. Brian, did you hear my suggestion about if we could use pages from Night Owl, like pre-recorded, as a kind of holding caption, a bit like pages from CFAX used to be to fill time on the BBC back in like the 80s and 90s. I just had an idea. Instead of having the static cards that I have when we're doing 8 till 8, if we could have pages from Night Owl, even if it was like a pre-record, so you didn't actually have to be set up and running. I don't know if you... sorry, I just need to just tweak this knife because it's got a bit blunt. I don't know if you saw that, but if not, or if you want me to talk about it, then talk about it off air. That's fine. I appreciate I'm putting you out a little bit by... talking about it, but it's just an idea I had, and I thought it'd be quite nice. You can hear fireworks going off again. It's November the 4th, so it's always a bonfire night. It's not New Year's just yet. By the way, planning of being live for... should be doing a ruler for this, by the way. Being live for Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. That is the plan. It won't be 8 till late. It'll be, Wi-Fi Sheep live special kind of thing. But I do plan, so you can join me for probably pretty much more the same, really. Got one. I'm normally on my iPad or my Pi 400, although I have an old laptop I use if Windows is the best option. I'm not saying you can't get BBSs for those sort of things, but you might be better off with the Windows build, if I'm honest. It'd be simpler, but up to you. So I'm just cutting out these spaces at the minute. But no, I still had all the most of the BBS when we did the special night. Most of the BBS graphics, as you've seen, are still actually loaded into the broadcast software. So I still have them. I could just bring them up and go, yeah, there you go. That's what we did. Oops. Careful. Nearly. A little bit more. But no, it will be interesting, I think, especially when I get my Pi 5 review done. Oh, hang on, where are we? Brian, sorry I missed that, but yeah, I kind of get the idea. It may be fun to do a Wi-Fi sheet, card sort of thing, view data style. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah. So, okay, yeah. Yeah, explain the idea again very quickly. So, basically, you got that, yeah? So, you see that when I'm late coming on stream, or when I disappear off, you kind of get the idea. And I thought maybe it would be nice, even if I reuse the footage I've already captured of Night Owl, to have pages from Night Owl, kind of like in vision broadcasting, whilst we wait for me to come on stream, or if I disappear and I need to leave you with something to look at, and here's the music sort of thing. And I just thought it might be kind of nice if we did Night Owl, and then maybe have like I don't know, something like where are we? Sort of have the information for the address. So if you do happen to be live when I'm live, not saying you have to be, but people could sort of go and log into it. So I just think that might be quite cool because it would fit what we do here on the channel. And as I said to you when I spoke to you on the phone, Brian, I really do like the project you've done, and it would be great to sort of be able to showcase that a little bit more, even if you're not actually online at that time. So that was my sort of thinking. But yeah. So very much like that kind of Pages from CFAX type stuff they used to run on the BBC when they weren't showing test card. Which even I remember that, so I'm showing my age now. But I want to do more BBSing type stuff because it is very, very fun. It's very cool. So, I don't quite know if I want to go to the point of a full Wi-Fi sheet BBS. I'm like, perhaps not. But maybe some tests or something. But I think just to be able to get my vintage machines dialing into other vintage machines, that would be cool. What I'll do, Brian, I'll probably just drop you an email and we'll talk about it. But yeah, that would be really, really cool if we could sort of do something like that. And I don't mind. We could fill our time with that. That would be great. So Gertman asked me, what's the plan for Christmas? Do you mean the plan for the channel? We are absolutely 1,000,000,000% not doing what I did last year. Because I do not have the time, unfortunately, because I'm now employed with somebody else, as I've explained. And even when I was fully self-employed last year, that was an absolute nightmare to do a video a day. We did the Wi-Fi sheet. It's still online, actually. The Advent countdown, and we did an electronics kit. I did a project for an out-of-box electronics kit Advent calendar every day, and some were brilliant, some were horrendously naff. And that's all online. And the Christmas playlist will be going. It is public, but it will be back on the front page next month, actually, because the entire December is Christmas month on Wi-Fi sheep. So the plan is we're going to be doing 3 to 4 sort of just standard normal-ish videos, but we're going to look at I've got video gaming systems. So I've got vintage Nintendo and PlayStation video game systems. We're going to look at doing some special projects and things with those. I wanted to do this stuff, and I was saving it for Christmas last year, and some of it was actually saved from the year before, and it just didn't happen because we ended up doing other things. So I really want to do that here on the main channel. The video I did on Farm Simulator, the DLC map on Farm Simulator, that was an area just literally 3 minutes drive down the road from me. There's a bit of Shropshire called Attingham Park. There was a map for Farm Simulator 22, and it modelled the whole area. That's literally my backyard almost. So I did a video of walking and driving around the real Attingham Park Atcham area, and then comparing it to the in-game footage. So we actually literally drove in split screen side by side, PlayStation or Xbox and real life. That video unfortunately didn't do very well, but what's going to happen, it's on the main channel at the moment. It's coming off the main channel, and that's going to go on as a repeat onto Wi-Fi Sheep channel 2. So that's the plan for Christmas. As well as that, I will be live here Christmas Eve up till midnight, so we can sit here and welcome in Christmas Day. If you want to, in GMT, obviously, if you're in a different time zone, that's not going to work. But you're very welcome to join me wherever you are in the world, and I hope you know that. So that's that plan. Then we'll be back to count in the new year. We'll welcome in 2024 here on Wi-Fi Sheep, as we do pretty much every year now, as a bit of a tradition. So that's the plan. Obviously, I need to get reviews out of the way, and there's still December project work to do. On top of that, of course, I'm also going to be on December the 9th at the Risk Mug Show. So I'll be in the in-person event as well. So lots going on. And yeah, you're quite right. I am very, very busy, but it's all good, and it's all fun. I'm still having fun, honestly. Let's see. Now, can we get this to work? So that needs to go over there. Hang on. Wrong camera. Wrong camera. There we are. You don't want to see me like pulling figure. No. Wrong camera. There we go. You could have told me. Oh dear. Okay. So it's not the neatest thing, and I was hoping that'd be a bit neater, but it's all right. So that's sort of like that. So we can get into the HDMI. That's a bit blurry when I lift up because the manual focus, but there you go. So HDMI, we can sort of get to the SD card. I might need to cut a bit more at the top, and that's going to sit. The USB will sit kind of like that sort of thing. So it's not perfect, but it'll do. Where are we? Brian says he uses that on a Pi 4. You mean the Telstar software? Does that run on the Pi 4? Do you have to compile it? Is that what have I got the right end of the stick? Possibly. And then we're like, yes, Tom, I could send you some frames to use for that, no problem. Create some more. Well, bro, I mean, I don't want to put you out, but yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I suppose what I need to do really is get back onto the system, get onto Night Owl myself, do another recording, just of the pages, scrolling through. Do you ever remember it on television where it had the it kind of had like the welcome to pages from CFAX, and it was in the 8-bit mode, but it was never part of the actual CFAX service. It was done specially for the broadcast version. I don't know if, and again, Brian, I don't want to put you out because I know we're all busy, and but I don't know if you could do like a special kind of like welcome to pages from Night Owl or something, or Wi-Fi sheet welcome to. I don't know if you could do that. And if you you do a bye-bye, don't you? When you log out, you get that bye-bye screen. That's quite nice. I don't know. It's just a thought, and obviously feel free to say no. But I don't know. That would be kind of cool if that was at all possible. Then we could possibly have that set up as early as next week. Because I did have an idea about actually having a tiny basic system actually on screen running a program and putting text and stuff, which was my other idea. I just think I do, especially if we're going to do more streaming, I need to put that back in focus again. There we go. I do need to think about content because I do end up disappearing off these streams, as you all well know, quite a bit often. So yeah. Okay, so that's going to go kind of like that. So I hate gluing stuff, but just a tab of glue there. We'll probably hold that, no problem. And I'm wondering if we could just put 2 holes through, or cut a sort of a square hole and fit that through. Because if I mount it that side, you're going to have the 2 phono jacks protruding out. But if I dig a hole and I mount it this side, then they're just going to stick out just a little bit like that. That might work, possibly. And then I need to grab some bolts. I found some bolts the other day that I could use just to mount through. Yes, so that's what we'll do. He says I might end up just. Do you know what? I might end up just gluing that in actually, but we'll see. Okay. So And then we need to figure out how to get the power in, which bit awkward. Why didn't our nice custom power supply work? I mean, really, you know, might just take a bit of this. I'll show you on camera, sorry. Take a bit of this corner out, like that. And then we're going to mount the video there, kind of like there. So do that. Brian just saying, chat, yeah, it's worth a go. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm. It's your call, Brian. At the end of the day, I'm really up for it, and you know, if you're willing to do that, that would be absolutely awesome. You know, we thank you so much. But again, you know, I appreciate everyone's time is very, very precious, so there's no pressure. But it would be kind of cool. I know I hate it when people ask me to do things. You're just like, oh God, really? Right, so we cut that out. So we're going to try and get the power to squeeze into that space. And we're going to have a go at digging another hole sort of here. I just think the whole BBS thing, as I said, I thought it was really, really cool. And, you know, it was a good night, that. It's a shame, Getmon, if you're still with us. It's a shame you missed that, actually, because it was a really... I know you came in and went, what's going on? This looks a bit different to the normal. And, yeah. If you can now hear Budgies screaming, then I apologise. It's like a zoo in this house. But no, just going back to the Christmas stuff. Yeah, you know, I've got some like video game system projects, things I want to show you. Not just playing games; it's hardware based. I've got, you know, I bought some adapters, some sort of custom cartridges, things like that I really want to show you. And we just never did. You know, it might be we might play the odd game on a Christmas live stream. We'll see. The only snag with games is, because I've done this, I did this with the original 8 till 8 when I was over on another platform that wasn't YouTube, that it's very difficult to sort of have a conversation and talk to people when you're trying to pay attention to what you're doing, such as playing games. At least with this, I can stop. You know, it's not critical. I can stop, talk, come back. Also, and I know I spoke to Martin about this, I am thinking of trying to get together a couple of you and some other friends to join me on a Skype groups call. I think we'll use Skype as the platform, which would then live stream here on 8 till 8. So we'll have like a panel discussion with some guests. And, you know, so maybe people like Martin. I know I've muted the idea. You know, he's building his Tiny Basic system at the moment. I've got a couple of other people that I know are Patreon backers that are also people I know personally that I think I'd like on the stream, just as a one-off, to see if it might be a thing that we could do. So when I'm not doing practical hardware projects like this, it might be nice to get a few of us together live here on the channel, just via Zoom and webcams. We can have a discussion about computing and retro topics and, you know, varied things like that. So that's an idea. I did mute this before. If anyone was curiously interested and would like to sort of potentially participate, then do drop me a line. You don't necessarily have to be a backer as such, but Obviously, I need to be a little bit careful who, because it's real time and live. I need people that I can trust. Not to say bad things, but it might be kind of nice to get sort of like a panel discussion show going, basically, which would be, I think, kind of a cool thing to do. There's one or two of them on YouTube already, but the only snag with them is that they tend to sort of be very focused on one particular piece of hardware, which is fine. And if you've got a community built around that, that's great. But I think I'd like something a little bit more general. So, you know, we could talk about Pi 5, or, you know, we could talk about stuff on here. We could have a BBS discussion, you know, stuff like that, really. And people could share their projects as well. So it's not always just about me. Right. So, what do we think? My SD card's hang on. There we go. Yeah, it's not bad. Just need to make sure we get the power in the corner. I think this is actually going to work quite well, you know. It's not perfect, but I just need to neaten it up a little bit. You know what? I haven't actually looked back at the YouTube window just to see how many have we got. That's okay. I'm not gonna get jittery and I've got like, oh my god, there's like 50 people watching. No. Yeah, no, that's fine. Right, I've gone right off what I'm doing now. Okay. Brian saying I can definitely make up some new friends. Well, it'd be marvellous if you could. It really, really would be marvellous. And obviously, you know, I will make sure that you are fully credited. You know, so I'd honest to God do not mind doing that at all. You know, I'm all for supporting people that are doing amazing things, and your project is definitely one of those amazing things. So. And as I said, we had such fun with that BBS evening. We'll have to do it again when we can get people a little more engaged. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm gonna. Do you know? This power is a little bit funny. I shouldn't do this, but I'm tempted just to super glue that just into the corner. I know it's a little bit clumsy and it's at a funny angle, but it's all just a little bit awkward. I don't want to dent the casing, so forgive me. Look away now if you're squeamish. That's at a funny angle. Just need to get that just so it sits correct. Might just take a little bit more just off this. You know, I've got to admit, every so often, especially of late, where I have been a bit tired, doing a lot of work, I've sort of gone, oh, I don't really want to do the stream tonight. Shall I just cancel? And you know, and I've generally been feeling like that. And then every time that I actually, perhaps with the exception of last week, so I was so tired and that was a bit of a car crash, but every time I actually come to do the stream, actually, I really, really enjoy it. And I think, actually, I'm so pleased that I kind of came online and we did the stream tonight, you know. Because you kind of forget just how enjoyable it is to do, you know. So, that goes in there. And those sit kind of like that. I shouldn't, but I'm really tempted just to glue that on. I know, forgive me, I should screw it in really, but I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to glue it in. Because just a little bit of glue, we can always break it out again if we need to get it off, so it's not a problem. Let's just make sure that's on relatively straight. Gone super glue mad tonight. But no, what makes this stream so brilliant is the people like you. It really is. It's, you know, as I've said to those of you that I've spoken to in person, either on the phone or, you know me personally, it is absolutely marvellous when we all get together. And I really hope we do have a nice evening. You come back for more, so I must be doing something right somewhere. But really do appreciate your company. As he glues things together and everyone goes, no, don't do it, don't do it. Right, I'm doing it. Saying that, I'm going to do all this and then I'm going to say, actually, I want to put pi 3 in here and then it all has to come out again. But so that I'm just fitting the USB right now. Also, I should probably say huge hello to all of you that actually watch this as a repeat. Because I appreciate not everyone can join us live. And there's a good 50 odd, actually more than that now, about 80, nearly 80 people that actually do watch me on this stream as a repeat. And again, really appreciate you taking the time out to watch me or us. That wasn't a good sound. What was that? Oh, there we go. Watch me as I break things. I don't know if that's going to hold, you know. It's a bit iffy. Just a minute. Because I'm gluing this on top of the cable for the power, so it's not ideal at all, but it'll do it. But God, is that even gonna hold? Possibly. Glue my finger to it now. There we go. I had this problem before. Just give that a minute. But right, so hot glue is, yeah, I should have hot glued it. I might still hot glue it. You're quite right. What's the betting after we've done all this? It won't blooming work. Looking good. Also make sure I've left enough space because that's, yeah, it's the right one. Do you remember we've still got to do the, I want to use the Atari joysticks. That is so wobbly. Why is that so damn wobbly for? I do need to hot glue that in. Just put a bit of glue on there and see if that holds. So we're going to put one of these Atari joystick, and I forget the standard, DB9? Is that an aeroplane? That feels like that's an aeroplane, but I might be right. So we're going to fit that kind of in there, and that's going to go through. See it fits here? I know it's a bit blurry, but you get the idea. because I want to have a joystick support. So I'm going to need to look at joystick support and getting that working. That's probably one of my next things I'd like to do in the space we've got left. The time we've got left, rather. So that's not too bad. I mean, so I've got one USB. Oops, there we are. One USB on the front. And we've got one USB on the back. Goatmon is saying you've seen worse prototypes. I think that's a compliment. And Martin is reminding me that hot glue is his friend and not mine. It might be the micro USB moving around. I don't. It is. It's. No, it's not. It's. I don't know. That's not great. That might work out. It might just go ping and come straight off again. I might need to put a bit of hot melt in that. It's an idea. Let's just check the lid goes back on. Put the lid in. I put the lid in its ultra safe place on the floor with all the other random stuff. Let's just set that lid fits. Yeah, that's no problem. It's all right. It does the job, doesn't it? It's all a bit. I'll just bring that into focus so you can see. It's all right. Does the job. Not amazing, but it'll work. So yeah, we can get this tidied up. I'm quite pleased with that, actually. So it is beginning to look like a machine you could display. Admittedly, what I'm planning on doing is obviously the interesting stuff, what's going on inside. So people are going to want to see that. So it's more likely going to run topless like that. But I really do want to see if we can get the joysticks working. Yeah, before. Well, actually, two things we need to do. We need to get the joysticks working, and we also need some software, which might help. Some programs. You've seen some of the demos on this thing already, but I do need to actually sit down and start writing some basic. I also got a few project ideas for videos as well, especially if you're following along with the Project Rio build, which is the kind of the simpler version of this, but it does the same thing, if you know what I mean. I am thrilled though, Martin, that you did actually get your version. Let's find that photo again. Where is it? That's the dog. There we go. You actually have got your version running. So have you like done that today? Because it was only yesterday afternoon, evening, where I think I sent you the bits or told you the links. I done a bit of sorting out on Patreon to make sure that people actually had the source code. And I'm guessing you've compiled that from the source. Would that be right? I'd be curious. I know there's a delay, but that's the problem with this. There's about a 30-second delay between me asking something and you actually hearing it. But no, that's fantastic how well that's worked, actually. And you got PyGFX running. So saying that, is that the version off the Patreon? Because I cooked up a version and actually had all the correct files to run, because PyGFX doesn't run straight off the GitHub. It says it does, but it's a lie. It doesn't. You actually need some additional files on the SD card to make it run on a Pi. So I'd just be curious, actually, if that was done. If you've literally done that today, but so yeah. We'll find out in a minute. Maybe. Anyway, back to this. So, yeah, we got that sorted. I'm trying to think, what else should we look at doing? I'm a bit annoyed about... I've got the button is still in. That we did last... I can't believe I did that, actually. How tired I was last week. Oh, here we are. Martin's replied. So, last night, I did the software on SD card and the Nano clone, but wired up the logic. Stupid heart button. It's always in the way in the text, so I can't see. Hang on. There we go. Last night did the software and the SD card and a nano clone, but wired up the logic. Is that and wired up the logic shift? So it's done last night. Ah, okay, fair enough. Well, once again, very, very well done. Copied all the files straight on the SD card. All right, so was that was the one? The Pi GFX was the one that was my build. Well, my setup was it straight off of Patreon. Anyway, yeah, I'm glad. Look, doesn't matter. I'm glad it worked, regardless of how you got it to work. But that's fantastic. So once again, very, very well done. Right. And tonight you wired it. Ah, okay, fair enough. And it worked. Yay! So stuff I do does work occasionally. Worked first time. Marvelous. You're doing better than me there, Martin. Do you remember when this thing broke down? What was it? The end of. Well, you do remember because you messaged me, didn't you? It was 3 weeks ago. And yes, it was the Patreon build. Yeah. 3 weeks ago it broke down, I think, was it? And we came to the end of the live stream, and I was a bit like, well, that's broke. And I honestly thought I'd cooked my level shifter, which is here, and luckily I hadn't. But yeah. But look, seriously, I'm glad that's working for you. Okay, that's a little bit secure. That's not great. A minute you plug anything into that, it's going to break. But it looks the part for now. Did I ever show you the joystick? I think I did show you the joystick I bought. Let's just grab the joystick. Let's just move that out of the way. So, yeah, that's how it came packaged from China. That was the state of the box. You're like, oh, great, really? So this, I've not tried it yet, but this claims to be a completely compatible Atari 2600 clone controller. So, the hope is that these should be a little simpler. I'm hoping it's literally the case that they just pull down or pull up on the pins. So you have the fire button, up, down, left, right. Okay? So, 5 buttons, effectively. So, that plugs in to there. And then we can pin out straight into the digital pins on the Nano, on the Mega board, the Arduino Mega board. So so that's the kind of the plan. The reason I'm stuttering a bit is I'm just wondering if maybe we've got a bit of time. Maybe we could just, I could do a little bit of investigating just to see how this works. But it's kind of me looking at a web browser for half an hour. I don't know how interesting that's going to be. Maybe it might be better off to do that next time. That's the last bit of the project really for this build, and then we need to move on to the next prototype. Still in chat, we've got get one. I've got a Pi 1, but I think I'll use the Pi 0. Yeah, I would recommend if you're happy soldering, I would recommend using a Pi 0. You won't have the voltage problems that we've actually had. We've had with this. So yeah, I would honestly, if you're happy to use a 0, use a 0. If you use a 0.1, the first 0 version, and you've got composite video if you want to use composite video, which is you do have to wire it in. Martin's suggesting pop the back off the joystick. Yeah, do you know what? We could do that, couldn't we? I did have a clone controller, Nintendo NES controller, one of these plugs on, but it was a blob. How's that? I cannot even for life of me see what screws that is. It's a crosshead. Actually, yeah, it's a good idea. Might need to get a slightly thinner screwdriver in a minute. But I'm hoping, because this is actually meant to be Atari 2600 compatible, that it's more of a straight wired system. And not a blob. If it's a blob, we might have a problem. Because I'd really love to get a controller system that kind of just worked. So we didn't have to hack about. I mean, we could build a little paddle or handheld controller. It's not too difficult with some buttons, but I don't really, if we can help it, want to build one. So, don't know why I didn't think states apart before. It's good thinking there, Martin. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wires and a ground. So ground is black, 5 wires. Being very careful. No blob. No blob. Excellent. That's brilliant. That's all I wanted to see. So that will absolutely, totally work. Yeah, brilliant. So basically, it's 1970s technology. So you didn't have chips, all these resin blob chips. So what you're doing is you're not multiplexing the signal. So you've got 5 wires, and then you've got a 6, which is a ground. Okay. So when you push this down, it makes a contact, and it grounds one of the pins. So let's say I push fire. Let's just say, for argument's sake, fire is red. Okay. So when I push that down, it connects red to ground. So red goes low. So we can, on the Arduino, detect that the pin has gone low to 0, and we can do that in BASIC. So we can write a driver in BASIC, in Tiny BASIC, which means that it will know that button's been pressed, and when that button is pressed, you do X, Y, and Z. So we should be able to have a controller. That's superb. That's what I was hoping. When I saw the blob in the Nintendo controller, my heart sank, in all honesty. So that's superb. I'm really happy with that. It does work how I thought it worked, which is good. So it shouldn't be too difficult to interface. Let's just get that back on there very carefully. So it does mean we can at least use these Atari 2600 cloney controllers for the project. But yeah, good thinking to actually have a look inside. I don't know why that didn't occur to me. It's a nice, simple design, so it's going to be fine for our needs. And obviously, when I've developed a bit of basic code that works, I shall share that on the Patreon for Project Rio. But I have a whole plan to build a whole, custom suite of software programs, test programs, almost like a mini operating system called Rio OS for the computer, so a graphical user interface. And you saw my demo. If you've been with me before, you've seen the demo of the cursor that's using the keys to move. But it'd be nice if we actually, we don't have a mouse as such at the moment, but if we can actually move around with a cursor and then a click button. So we should be able to do some games, some quite simple graphics and games on the system, which is going to be fantastic. So I think that's what we'll do next week. I think we'll absolutely get this wired in and working, and see how that goes, and that should be great. And yeah, so I'm pleased I bought that now. But it's a shame about the clone Nintendo ones, but not surprised. You could rewire them, but it's not something I could just tell you to get off the shelf. And if I know that works, then yeah, that would be absolutely fantastic. So let's just catch up in the chat. So Martin saying, if you're not on Patreon, I want to try this. It's worth doing. Oh, well, thank you, Martin. This or the Tiny Basic? Well, they're both good projects. There will be a new Tiny Basic video, not Tiny Basic, new Project Rio video coming out shortly as we're developing that build. This isn't the same as that. This live stream is the kind of the mad prototyping, I don't know what I'm doing, God help us all kind of evenings. The main Project Rio build and the accompanying Patreon series for that is a bit more ordered, but all the technology we're doing here will be passed on to the other build that you can follow along and build. And eventually, I'm hoping to get to a sort of prototype 2, if you like, and maybe even a soldering PCB. I'm still deciding if we're going to use these sort of cases or not. Probably will, because the thought of custom 3D printing a case, I don't really know if I want to do it. I've done that, just it gets expensive, and you can buy these very nice ITX Chinese cases that, you know, are working quite well for our needs. So even if it's a little bit wobbly on the back, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, okay, well, I think we've come to a sort of, it's just gone 10 o'clock here in the UK. Actually, I must admit, with the clocks going back to a GMT, so we're now on GMT 100 hours rather than British summertime, which is +1. It means everything's a slightly hour later, but that works for me quite well at the moment, especially when I'm up early in the mornings to do the chickens, walk the dog, then go to work and get to work for 9 o'clock. It's like, yeah. So, yeah, lots coming up on the channel, actually. New videos coming this month shortly. I am working on a new sponsored video. This one's a bit different because it's actually a Patreon backer, Lee Rayner, who is backing me on Patreon. And him and his son, Kevin, I showed you the photo a while ago, actually came to visit me here at Wi-Fi Sheep. They physically came here to visit me. And they have a very, very interesting free project that is for Android that I'm doing a sponsored video. So they're going to pay to sponsor me. And I'm going to show you all about that. I've been shooting the intro for that today, and I'll be carrying on with that tomorrow probably. So do look out for that video. It's such a great thing. It's really worth your time, and it's free, which is amazing. Also, we'll be carrying on with the X1. I have the Kerr package. It's still here. The additional X1 stuff which we need to do. So that's the X86 PC board. And I've got some extra bits to show you on that, and it's such a cool board. And when I finish with that, it's going to take over the live streaming, so we don't have the problems with the Mac and the USB stuff, and the camera's messing up now every time. So we're going to switch over to running on Windows 11. The X1, by the way, my X1 is now running full x86 Windows 11. Very, very, very cool. Pi 5, beat that. We will then be reviewing Pi 5. And I'm going to try and be fair, but do understand that, you know, I'm playing with some stuff that I think's cooler. And I know I'm being paid to say that, but I generally think it is actually cool. I'm not being paid to talk about it right now, and I'm still talking about it. And I am going to then use that sponsored product for this live broadcast stream, you know, going forward. So especially next year. So it is definitely worth looking at. But we'll look at Pi 5 and got some Pi 5 type ideas. 8 will carry on. We've got to get this unit finished, and we've got to get on to the next unit. And I've got 1,000,001 other projects we can absolutely do. So it's not just this. Project Rio will be carrying on. We've got at least 2, if not 3 more videos to get that project done. And then we can roll into, I don't know, some sort of production kit, I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm not fully decided what we're going to, what the end product is. It's different. I said this last week. It's not the Commander X16 from the 8-bit guy. It's not that Argon, Agon 8-bit Z80 thing that's floating around from somewhere in Europe. This is a very different hands-on project, so it's not about selling you anything. And I stress that in the Patreon. When you sign up for Patreon or YouTube members, you're not buying anything from me. You are supporting me financially to do these videos and make this channel, and I give you a gift in exchange to say thank you. That's how it works. You're not buying anything from me. I'm not selling you anything. So that's the difference. But we'll see where we go, and we'll kind of just we'll play it by ear. I'm not in any huge rush to make products and sell things, because I've done that and it takes so much time I don't have at the moment. So channel 2, we've got to do model railways, do some trains and some digital trains, and I've got a new model railway layout I want to build, and that's all sitting in the attic. So it'd be nice to do at least one train video for channel 2 before Christmas. If we get there, I have no idea. So much else on. Again, if you're interested and would potentially like to join me here as a live stream participant, I say here, from your home via webcam on this live stream for an 8 till 8 special, then do get in touch. Email is info@wifisheep.co.uk. That's info@wifisheep.co.uk. I may go chasing a couple of you that I've got contacts for and say, would you all like to get together as a trial? It might be a terrible idea, but we could try it and see what happens. As long as you don't get me banned from YouTube, that would be a bad thing. And then Christmas, I've got video game projects to do, which hopefully you're all going to find really, really interesting. Certainly, stuff I want to do for a while. And then, of course, December the 8th, you can join me for the mug. That's Midland User Group RISC-OS Christmas Market. If you're kind of within an hour and a half of Dwight Rich. I can't say Dwight Witch. I can't say it. In that area off the M5 South Birmingham. Then we'll be live for Christmas Eve, live for New Year's Eve, and then we're into a brand new year for 2024, where I hopefully will be opening up the local event, what we're calling Harpinet, which is the replacement Raspberry Pi Jam type physical meetup. Which will be free and happening in the kind of Shropshire, Staffordshire border area of the West Midlands, and that hopefully will be open to the public, depending on how these first 2 trial events go in the new year. And we'll take it from there. Just checking the chat. So I get Martin. Yeah, I can't read. Hang on. There we go. I appreciate you taking the time to go live, and it's a pleasure to be part of the chat. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much, Mark. Well, I'm pleased somebody else gets something out of this, if you know what I mean. It's nice to be streaming and there's people there. It's terrible when you're just on your own. You get like one viewer that hangs around for 2 minutes and goes, then it's boring, and they leave. Which is why I'm not on the gaming stream platforms anymore, and I'm not playing games, because I don't play games that well or that often. And if we're going to be here live, let's do something remotely useful. Let's get some of these projects moving. So much other stuff I want to talk about, so much other stuff I want to do. We're not going to have time to do that as dedicated videos, so 8 till 8 is a perfect vehicle to just get on with some of these other projects and fill a bit of airtime and have a bit of fun along the way. Right. Well, yes, Gertmon, I am really, really busy. So I'm trying to fit it all in. So, but that's the plan of what we're going to be doing. So there's plenty of stuff happening here on Wi-Fi Sheep. As I always say, if you haven't done so, please do consider liking and subscribing. I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you that are watching this on repeat. I know many of you do, and I really do appreciate that, and hope you maybe can join us live at some point. We don't bite. I said I really like this kind of friendly, informal atmosphere. It'd be great to have your company. I think I've said everything I wanted to say right now. We're coming up to 10 minutes. 10 minutes past 10, so I'm probably going to call it in a moment, but we'll just hang on and chat there. Gertmon's saying, I'm not a gamer, just interested in the tech. Yeah, I mean, some games I do like to play. I don't have time to play games a lot now. But I just, no, I'm not sitting there streaming, you know. Maybe at Christmas, we have done stuff like that on the channel occasionally. Maybe at Christmas we might look at a few things. But we'll look at a few things in the context of a retro tech kind of context, not just I'm playing the latest. I don't even know what people are playing at the moment. When I was trying to live stream, it was all Fortnite this, Fortnite that. I was like, I'm not interested. You know, I'll play Farm Simulator, which I did that Christmas video on. Do go and check that out, by the way. It's the Christmas playlist, which all Wi-Fi Sheep's previous Christmas content from many years now is all on the Christmas playlist, which will be, it is there, you can find it on the channel playlist on the main channel, but it will be kind of like on the front page of the channel from December, as it always is, and we'll be adding new Christmas videos as we kind of go through December. Right, so Get saying good night. All Tetris I do like. That's about the level I'm at now. I'm getting old. That's the problem. Anyway, yeah, as I said, I think we'll call it there. So thanks so much, everyone, for your company once again. And all being well, we'll do this again, same time, 8 o'clock GMT next Saturday. Until then, thanks so much for your company. And wherever you are in the world, have a great night. Good night.